Good morning, everyone. Can you see my screen? Great. So let's move forward. All right. So what is today's agenda? Today, we're going to implement the follow and unfollow feature. We are building, as you might know, we are building a Twitter-like application, which is a very small Twitter clone. We call it Raptor Twitter. We have many features built already, but there is no follow or unfollow feature. So this is something that we will try to build today. In order to do that, we'll have to create the model to facilitate follow unfollow feature, which in turn will talk to the database that will have a many-to-many relationship. So we'll learn about a little bit of many-to-many as well today. We'll create more model functions, like I said, to build the API for the application to make calls to those API and actually do the job. And then we'll integrate the template, which is in Jinja 2. So it's going to be a lot of MVC, right? So you can see that it's a little bit of model involved, database involved. Then there's a view involved, which is the integration of the template. And it's going to be a little bit of controller, of course, because with our controller, we can't make the connection between the model and the view. So we have around 1 hour, 30 minutes approximately. We'll see how far we can go. So let's move forward. But yeah, the level is beginners. So if anyone is an advanced user, may not be very suitable, but maybe there is something for you to learn as well. Great. So let's move forward. So let's do a recap of the old application, what we have so far built. So it'll get an understanding of where we are, because sometimes we can lose track. So let's go and take a look. Okay. Now, one bad news is that our Replit server is not working. I don't know why. I'm trying to you see the run button. When I hit on run, looks like it tries to run it and then it dies. Or you can see it's not responsive. So what I did, I set up the application on local. So maybe I'll just demo it from local. Okay. So there you go. This is my local. It's running on 8,000. So let me run it. So here's on the left, you can see the code here. You can see my screen, right? My IDE is showing some code. Can you see the IDE now?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
So I'll run the application. So to run the application, so before when we were using this platform Replit, they may be having some problem. I don't know. You see the CPU on the left side here, left bottom side, it's like burning. I don't know what's happening there. So for some reason, our platform where we code together, we collaborate together, is not working. So I'm very, very sorry about that. Today probably is going to be on my local, but I'll be definitely sharing my screen and showing you. So in order to run the application, you just run flask --app, and then main is the name of the file, the main.py that I want to run. And then the run is the command that executes the run command, obviously. Then which port I want, on my local, I want it to run on 8,000. You could choose 4,000, 3,000, whatever you like. So this is the GitHub link. You can find the up-to-date source code there. I just uploaded the code last week, so you can just clone that. The instruction is here. You can try to run, but it's not necessary because I'm going to run it in here already. All right. So let me run that. There you go. Now on my local, see that I'm running on 127.0.0.1, which is localhost 8,000, port number 8,000. So what I'll do is we'll go ahead and just write out 8,000. So let me log out. Let me log in. My login username is my username and password. Log in, and there you go. I'm logged in now, and it's showing me the 10 recent tweets already here. Okay. As far as the UI is concerned, for folks who are new, we are using Twitter Bootstrap. There you go. This is the framework. You can just copy paste the code and it will give you a beautiful UI. Okay. Twitter Bootstrap is very easy to use. We have a session. You can watch the videos. The link is there. All right. Coming back to our application. So now let's add a new tweet. I am having a great day. Okay. So maybe this is my tweet. Let's tweet it. And you can see that instantly the tweet is showing up here. So it's working. I can go ahead and see all my tweets. I can go ahead and see all the tweets from all users. At this point, it's only my tweets, so it's only showing my tweets. I can go home I can go and see who the users are. At this point, it's only I am the user. Okay. Okay. So this is what we have built so far. Okay. Very basic application. But we are trying to add features and enhance it. So let's move forward. So that's a little bit of recap. So let's do the project scope check. So what we wanted to build and where we are in the project. So all the done flags, definitely those are done. Today we are, all right. So as you can see, the limit max 250 characters is not done yet. So we'll have to do that at some point. See a list of people that we can follow. This is not done yet. We'll have to work on it. Follow and follow user. This is what we are doing today. Line number 7. This is what we are building today. Follow and follow users. Okay. So I think at least 30-40% work is left. So let's move forward. If you see the feature, follow, how to follow and unfollow user. What is the requirement? So let's understand the requirement first. Okay. For example, if there may be so many users in our Twitter application, user A can follow user B. User A can also follow user C. User B can follow user A. User B can follow user C. User C can follow user A. User C can follow user B. Definitely. So everyone can follow everyone, except user A cannot follow himself and user B cannot follow herself. Right? So we have everyone can follow everyone, but everyone cannot follow him or herself. Right? So that's the requirement. Right? So in order to do that, we need to have a database model that is supported, right? So is there anyone who has understanding of how one-to-many or many-to-many work? Anyone with the understanding of one-to-many relationship or many-to-many relationship? If you raise your hand. Okay, that's not a problem. I see Trader has some, Trader understands. Trader, you have experience with many-to-many?
Yeah. So
great. And you'll be feeling like home because we are going to do many-to-many. So one thing to notice here for everyone, you can see that A is repeated on the left side. A is repeated twice. B is repeated twice. C is repeated twice. And the same on the right side. So the same name is repeated on both sides multiple times. So this is a possibility, right? A can follow B and B can follow A and everyone can follow everyone. So it's a many-to-many. So many users can follow many other users. Right? That's why it's many-to-many. If there is another version of this many-to-many, which is called one-to-many. Okay, one-to-many is a different scenario where one user can follow only certain users, and the other users cannot follow this user back. Right? So this is one-to-many. Like so, connection between, for example, one customer can have multiple addresses. Right? This is one-to-many. One customer can have multiple addresses. Well, in certain cases, this could be also a many-to-many because in the same address, we can have many customers, right? But listen, let me give you another example of valid one-to-many. So one customer can have multiple phone numbers, right? One customer can have multiple phone numbers. So it's a one-to-many relationship. But the same phone number, if it is a cell number, of course, cannot belong to multiple users. That's normally not the case. So maybe you want to go one-to-many in this case, right? However, if it is in our follower case, follower and followee case, many users can follow many other users. So it's a many-to-many relationship. Okay, so let's go forward and see how it would look in our database. So this is how it's going to look. We'll have a table. And in this table, we'll keep the relationship, okay? User A, user B, user A, user C, and this relationship will be there in a table. So it's a follower following user. So if I say that, if the question is, how many followers does user B have? What would be the answer? So user B, the followees are on the right side. So you can see that the followee, on the followee side, B is repeated twice. So user B has 2 followers. And A is following user B, the first line. And also C is following user B, the second line, right? So the user B has 2 followers. So this is a table where we can find out who is following who and how many followers does the user have, right? Any questions so far? Is it making sense to everyone? All right, so let's move forward. Create a many-to-many table, okay? So now, just before we go there, I want you to look at the create statement at the bottom. Create table user, and the user table has only one field to it. ID, integer, not null, and it's a primary key, okay? This table already exists in our database. In the demo, you saw that I was able to log in, right? I can also sign up, right? I can sign up, I can log in. So there is a users table, okay? What we don't have today is the followers table, which is the top one that we are going to be creating today, okay? So in order to create the followers table, if you see the last example, we need a follower table, we need a follower field and the followee field. So there you go. We have the follower field. The follower is an integer because the user ID is integer, and it's not null because there's no point having a null follower, right? And followee is integer and it's not null either. Okay. Now it's a foreign key because we have a user table. It's not a new key. The key is coming from a foreign table. If I am the first user in the system, my ID may be 1. For the next user who is signing up, his or her ID may be 2. So these are the IDs, 1, 2, 3, 4, just to identify the user. Now, when I say A is following B, actually from the database perspective, 1 is following 2, and then 2 is following 3, and 3 is following 1, and blah, 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 right? All right, so here, that's the reason why the follower and followee are integer, right? Because it's actually the ID and not the name, because there may be, IDs are unique, names are not, okay? Now, when I say that it's a foreign key, I mean that the ID is actually coming from the other table, which is user, okay? I say foreign key follower, this is follower, the first field that we have is a foreign key, but it references the user ID of the user table. That references the ID of the user table. That's how it reads. The next one is the same. Foreign key is followee, but it references the same table, which means both the follower and followee are coming from the same table, which is fine. It both can come from the same table because we keep the user's information in the users table. Now, if you remember the requirement, allowed is fine, but what about not allowed? A cannot follow A, and B cannot follow B. This is something that we'll be restricting from application. This is something that we will be restricting from application. But I want to ask this question. If A is following B, do you think the database should ever support for A following B again? Which means in this table, A follow A on the left side and follow A and B, this record, the first record, A and B, do you think this should be repeated ever? Can I follow the same user twice?
No.
Even if I follow the same user twice, how does it help? Right? It only confuses the system and nothing else. So I can only follow user only once. I can unfollow the user and then follow the user again, but I cannot follow and then again follow and then again follow. And it shouldn't have any impact. Even if I just hit follow multiple times, it should not have any impact on the database. Because if the database knows that I'm following there's one entry that A is following B, that's good enough, right? So yes, you're right. We cannot have duplication of data. This is duplication of data, which should not be allowed in the database. And to restrict that, at the database level, we have this primary key, follower, and followee, which means the same follower and the same followee cannot be duplicated. This is the other name of this is also composite key. Composite key, okay? Where there are two primary keys, 2 or more primary keys, we call it composite key, okay? It's very normal to have one primary key. See it in the user table, ID, integer, not null, primary key. But it's also not so uncommon to have a composite key. And this is a very good example of it. It's important to have these constraints in the database. That way your data will not be data will be very reliable, and it will be there will be no there will be no need to clean up the data in the long run when you're creating report. Data is very helpful to give insights, to create reports, and there's so much you can do in this world of data, right? So it's very important that your data is clean, and in order to keep your data clean and reliable, it's important that your table is created correctly and it does not allow wrong data or duplicate data in it. Okay, any questions so far? I'll take it as a no. All right, so let's move forward.
Sorry, I have a question.
Please.
This is new to me, especially with this many-to-many table scenario, because I'm just thinking in my head where in order to find, let's say person A has tons like B, C, D, E, F, G followers. Like in terms of how we construct the schema table in the database here, does that mean that you had, in order to find the whole floor, like this person's followers, like the whole list, you had to go to the whole table record to find like pretty much exhaust the whole table record to find such thing? Isn't like a performance kind of penalty?
That's a very, very, very good question, and thanks for asking it. So the table will grow. Imagine you have 100,000 users, and then 100,000 users are following all the possibilities that they have. Like everyone is following everyone. In that case, imagine how huge this table can become, right? It can really become huge. And then if you want to know that who is following Mr. X, then you'll have to scan through the table, find out who are the followers and where the followee is Mr. X. The question is that not a huge performance problem? Well, that's why we have something called indexes. Okay, definitely it is a demanding job for the computer, but the job becomes super easy when there is indexes. So we don't have to kind of worry about it unless it's super big table. And even if then we might require some kind of sharding, for example, okay, which is a different topic altogether. But here, even like with millions of records, I don't think you have to worry about it when we have index. Now, question is, what is index?
You want to create index, you will create index on the primary key, the follower, and the followee.
Yes, so primary key and foreign keys are indexed by default. That's why we don't have indexes here.
Okay, thank you.
So that's why it's going to be super fast, even with millions of records, even like gigabytes of records. It's going to be like very, very performant. All right, so let's move forward. Let's build the follow feature. Now, unfortunately, the REPL is not working. How we normally do is that I don't code. Instead, the members together we code. Okay, the members and I together we code. Unfortunately, the Replit server, it's the first time it's not working. It's normally very, very helpful and powerful. So we'll be live coding on Replit, but today not. We need volunteers and pair programming, definitely, yes. But let's see it works. I'll just give it one more shot and see if it works. So this is the, leave this page. This is the day 11 code. I'll still share, share the link, even if it doesn't work. So you can at least browse through the code. Okay. It says that, yeah, there's something open SSH kind of problem that I have no idea what it's referring to. It's totally internal. I'm so sad. They should take care of it. I'll try to run and see if it runs. If you could write the code together, that'd be great. So let's give it a few minutes just to see if it works. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Okay, it is gone for. Okay, so you can see the code here. I'll browse through the code still. Okay, just to show you how the code structure is. Okay, so there you go. This is the main.py, which is basically the entry point for our application. It has it is the controller. It is based off Flask, and we don't have so much here. I think it's less than 100 lines. Okay, now 150 lines of code approximately. all the controllers URLs are registered here. For example, I'll just quickly go through. We have a home page, which is this. This is the home page. This is the login page. Login post handler. If you log out, this is the URL that gets it. And then this shows the tweet form. And then we have save tweet. When you submit a tweet, this is the controller that takes care of the tweet. As you can see, for example, save tweet calls a function called add tweet. This is just a model function that's responsible for storing the tweet. Now let's go to the next one. You can see that we have a tweets page that shows all the tweets, or we can specify a username to see all the tweets from that specific user. All right, what else we have? We have a registration function. The user can sign up. This is the sign up handler. Then we have list of users page where you can see all the users who signed up. Okay. Now this is the controller. Now, where is the model? The model is here. The first layer of model is, for example, the users.py. Here you can see some basic functionalities where all the users related functionalities exist. For example, get user by username, create user, get all user following, unfollowing, blah, blah, blah. But one thing to notice here is that get all users, for example, line number 10, is calling another function db.getAllUsers. So it's basically working as a proxy layer between the SQLite functions and the SQLite function and the controller, right? It's kind of in the middle. So here we can implement all sort of business logic and keep the controller as simple as possible. So model should have more business logic and controller should have like less business logic. Controller should just be delegating the work. So model is the ideal place for adding as many functionalities as possible. In normal scenarios, there's a tweets.py. Here you can see you have functions like get all tweets, add tweet, get tweets by user. So far, these three functions are serving us well, but we'll need more functions shortly. Maybe not this, not this one. Maybe we'll create a new one for followers. Okay. And then we have tweets.db. This is the SQLite database, SQLite relational database, a file-based database, which is simple to work with, and all the data is stored there. Okay. So this is the DB. The db.py, just for everyone info, this is the place where all the low-level database functionalities are written. You can see that we are import SQLite, and then in it basically just make sure all the tables are created. Then see the insert statements, select statements, blah 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 are here. Okay, so you can see line number 63 and line number 67, get all users following and get all users unfollowing. These are the functions there. Some functions are there, but not really implemented. It's returning empty array, so we are going to fix it today. Okay, so since the Replit again is not working, I'll go back to my IDE on my local. Okay, so first thing first is that we need to create the table to facilitate the follow for unfollow feature, right? So let's do that. So in order to do that, we need to, we saw the SQL here. I'll rewrote that. There you go. I'll just copy this and I'll go ahead and open the db.py. It's open already. And then I will add this new table. So there you go. I'm using PyCharm. It's a very powerful Python IDE. You can download that for free. Also, you can use VS Code, no problem at all. All right, so you can see that the init function is making sure that create table if not exists, tweets. If the tweet doesn't exist, create that tweets table, right? And what is a tweet? What does the tweet table contain? An auto increment ID, the tweet text, and who the user is, who tweeted it, right? And then we have the users table, and then we are going to create a new table now, which is this. Okay, there we go. Okay, now you can see the users. The name of the table is users. Okay.
Just a quick question.
Yeah.
I kind of wondered, is it like a Visual Studio that you're using, or what?
I'm using PyCharm. Okay, so you can, yeah, so it's PyCharm. You can Google that. So PyCharm is from JetBrains. there is a PyCharm Community Edition here. You can also download the Pro Edition. It's 1 month free, but the community edition is 100% free. Okay.
So PyCharm Community Edition.
Yeah,
Maybe
you can use
paste that link in the chat if you don't mind.
I sent the link here.
Thank you.
All right, so let's move forward then. Okay, so you can see that there's the init function. The init function is at this point, it makes sure the twist table is there, user table is there. Now we want to make sure the followers table is also there, right? So I just don't want to go ahead and create that table. Maybe, thanks, Kale, for that in the chat. All right, so I'll just add this line as well. Create table if not exists. So that's not there. So I'll just add that. Create table if not exists. And the table name is followers. The followers has two fields, ID, follower integer and the followee integer. Both are foreign keys. And let's make it a composite key as well. Okay. I haven't tested this code. Let's see if it works. So I'll go ahead. So by the way, the main.py that we have in here, it calls the init function. Okay. So now you can see here from db import init. So this is, I'm importing the database file into the controller and then calling the init function to make sure everything is, all the db related stuff is set up. Okay. So this init function will get called. And because I have this code inside of it, this should get called as well. So let's go ahead and run it. Okay, so I can see my application is running. If there was a problem, it would have crashed. So I don't think there is a problem. I think everything is fine. So the database should be in there already. It should be working. Let me see if there is a way in PyCharm I should be able to see how many tables I have in there. Let me see if show diagram pop up. Let me see. If you're unable to find diagrams selected, okay. There should be a way that I could see what is inside of the DB. I forgot. Never mind. Let's proceed with that. So now that we have the followers table, what is the next thing we should be doing? Anyone? We should be asking ourselves, what are the functionalities we need? First functionality that we need is that we want to know who is following a user, right? So if you remember, let's go here to see, we have a following page. So we want to know who I'm following. And I also want to know who I'm not following. So end of the day, this is the business requirement. I want to know who I'm following and I want to know who I'm not following. So I can, follow someone from there. Or if I'm following someone, if I choose to not follow someone, then I can unfollow someone. So I want to know who I'm following. I want to know who I'm not following. Okay. So let's do the first one, and which is get all users following. Okay. So this is the function that should return who I'm following. Now this function has one thing missing, which is who's the user you're talking about. If you want to know how many followers a user has, then we need to know who the user is, right? So how many followers Mr. A has? How many followers Mr. B has? So that needs to be in a parameter. So let's add that parameter, okay? So, okay, I'll just pass the user as a parameter. Okay, now the next thing that we need to do is the what? Anyone?
We should do the selects from the table.
Exactly. We should do the select. So how about we keep these views side by side? Okay, maybe just keep that at the top so we can see the table view. Okay, so there you go. Okay, maybe I put this on the right side. So move to right top. There you go. So we have more space. All right. So this is the table. And now we need to write a SQL query to get how many followers the user has, right? So let's do that. Anyone can help me with that? Trader, you already nailed it, looks like. So select followers. Trader says select follower. Okay.
More money every chapter.
Sam, I'll mute you. Sorry, you're getting some background noise. Okay. So Trader says it should be select follower from users where followee equals something, right? Equals something. Okay. Question. Anyone?
Sir, why is users? I thought there should be followers table.
Oh, absolutely, yes. So trader says that select follower from users, where follow is something. So I hear that one person has objection to it. Anyone else? Is trader correct? Or anyone? Anyone? Okay. Definitely it should be followers, right? This is the table we created. Select follower. Where is the follower field? The follower field is inside the followers table, right? So we cannot get it from users. It should be from followers, right? It should be from followers. Select follower from followers where followee is the user ID, right? So, in order to do that, you do just user ID. Okay, and this is parameterized. So we can then do this. User ID will be the user ID. So it actually should be user ID. Okay, so I'm just checking my syntax just to make sure that I didn't miss anything. Yeah, that should be one. And end of the day, we want to fetch one. So I'll just copy that and return the user. Okay, just copy that and return the user. Sorry, not fetch one. We'll be fetching many users because there may be many followers, right? So it's a fetch many. Fetch many. Okay, and then this is followers and return followers. Okay, so I think this should work. I'm looking for opinions, please. Anyone? Before I start testing it, do you think the code is correct to get all the followers? Okay, so how about we go ahead and try this out? Okay, so let's run this. So we can also try to run it from our Python terminal, right? We can go to Python. Python. So yeah, I'm in the right place. I go inside Python, and then I can do from db import get all users following. Okay. Anyone has any question what I'm doing now? I'm basically unit testing I'm just trying to test this function that I just wrote to make sure everything is working. There's no data in the table. So when I run this function, there should be no error, but there'll be no data either. Okay. I'm just gonna make sure that this is working as expected. Let me know if you have a question. So I'll run this function, get all users following, and it expects an ID. So maybe I'll just pass 1 and see what it says. It returned nothing, which means the function got executed. The table is there and it returned nothing. So looks like a success to me. Okay, looks like a success to me. Any question? Okay, so there is one more function missing, very critical one. We are getting all users following, but we didn't have a function that would add the user to the followers table, right?
Just a question, a little bit on the basic side. User ID has this particular format with the colon. Is that a Python thing?
Yeah, no, it's not a Python thing. It's basically, well, you can say it's a SQLite thing rather. Sorry, it is a Python and SQLite together. So what is happening is that by colon user ID, I'm implying that the followee will be coming from a parameter. Followee will be coming from a parameter. And then in a dictionary or an object, whatever is familiar with you, in an object, I'm saying user ID is actually whatever user ID is being passed here. So I'm first setting the placeholder here, okay? And then I'm passing the dependency in an object. Okay, this is just a syntax thing. You might be able to like just do this where user ID is and directly plus, for example, 12 or 10, or the positive variable. But this is not recommended because of SQL injection, okay, or for security reasons, right? Because the hackers may be trying all sort of inputs and they may be able to steal data from your system. That's why it's important to follow this syntax.
So with the colon, it's referencing the parameter that is in the brackets above.
That's correct. So if I change this code user ID to A, then I can just change it to A and it will work the same.
It will work the same?
Yeah, because it's just a variable.
So the user ID would have to also change to A in the brackets above.
Exactly. So you can see, no, because this user ID is here coming as a value. Line number 32, you can see that the whatever user ID we passed as a parameter is actually being set as in the dictionary value here, right?
Oh, wow.
You see this one?
I see it.
Yeah. So this user ID is being used here as a value in the dictionary. Okay. So user ID value is being set. Now the question is, what is the placeholder for follow E? Okay. Follow E equals colon A. Then the colon A will get translated into the user ID. So basically, this colon A will be the value of user ID automatically.
So when I see colon, it automatically replaces a value for the parameter variable name.
Whenever you see colon and a variable name, it means that the value will be coming from a dictionary, right? And this is the dictionary.
Within the dictionary.
In the dictionary. So we can have multiple.
I guess dictionary is a new thing for me. I understand variables and parameters, but dictionary.
Okay, so are you familiar with JavaScript?
On the basic side, but I did C.
Any language you're familiar with?
I did C++.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's old, I know.
No, it's still powerful and it's still modern. They're improving as well. Now, from that perspective, you can call it a struct.
Struct.
Okay, and in struct you can have multiple values, right? Or a hash map, if you know, if you understand a hash map.
Oh wow. Okay, let's not get very technical.
Okay.
If it replaces the variable with the value, I do get that.
Okay. Okay. Just one more thing I wanted to show you, just to clarify. Hope that helps. So you see the colon T and colon U here, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And you can see the T's value comes from TOEIC and U's value comes from a username.
So that is a dictionary.
That's the dictionary in Python.
Oh, so right after the SQL,
right after the SQL, there is a comma, and then there's a parameter, which is the dictionary.
And then you specify what the dictionary is. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that does clarify it a lot. Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
So
Glad that it helped. Yeah, someone, Trader has a question.
No, I actually wanted just to follow up since she's coming from a C background. So what you're demonstrating is pretty much like the way that you handle a printf function.
Yes, you're right. You're right. Yes.
So you have a placeholders for the way that you replace the particular values. And if you remember from the printf function in this standard library, %s maps to a string, %d maps to an integer, and so on and so forth. So this is like pretty much closest that you can get to this.
That's a very good example. Thank you so much. Excellent. So let's move forward. We still have half an hour left. I'm pretty sure we'll be able to finish it. So yeah, so we added the function get all users following, but we didn't add a function for adding the user into the database, did we? We didn't. So let's go ahead and create that. Okay, so we create the function def add. Maybe just call a follow user. So follow user function should take two parameters. Number one is follower, and then number two is follow e, right? And then what is next? We need to create an insert. There you go. Thanks, Trader. We need to create an insert statement. So I'll copy paste an existing existing code and just change it. So insert, so Trader says insert into followers. So I'll change it, insert into followers, and then values. We need two values, right? The first value will be the follower value, and then the followee value. Followee value. And then again, this value should come from a dictionary. So the first one will be follower, and this will be the value of follower. And then second one is followee. And then it will be followee. Okay. Insert into followers.
I have a question.
Yeah, please.
What does the initial null parameter represent?
Thanks so much for raising it. I copy pasted from the example at the bottom. It's coming from there. I want to ask this question to everyone. Do we need this null? Anyone? We don't. If we had an auto increment ID, then we would just need to pass null. You can see that the first two tables here, create table if not exist, tweets, create table if not exist users, they both have _ID integer primary key auto increment, right? An auto increment ID is basically something that increments automatically. So you just focus on adding users, the ID will automatically be incremented. If the last user was 10, it will automatically add 1 to it and give you user number 11. Okay, so you don't want to, when you're inserting user into the system, you don't want to see how many user I have and what should be the new ID for it. If you want this, if you want to give this responsibility to the database, then auto increment is the solution. Now, because the database itself is taking care of the auto increment, we just pass null as a value for the _ID. Now, in our followers table, we don't have _ID, right? We don't have an auto increment. So we don't need this null. Thank you so much for raising that. It's there because I copy pasted the code from the other function.
So you can leave the ID column blank. Is that?
Yeah,
acceptable?
so very good question. Again, so this create table followers, it doesn't have an ID table. It doesn't have an ID table. As you can see, there is nothing called ID, right? But we could very well change it and add an auto increment ID here. Okay, we can change it and add an auto increment ID. So now it will have an ID and then follower and followee. But we don't really need this auto increment ID because we have a composite key already. Okay, a composite key is other way of identifying a record. An ID is very flexible. If you have ID, gives you a unique number to address an element or a record in the database, right? Composite key can also do that, but instead of one ID, you need two IDs. As you can see here in this followers table, we are saying that the primary key is follower and followee combined. Okay, which means that to identify a record, I'll go back to the database, the table view here. To identify a record, we'll need both parameters, A and B. So if I want to delete this record, then I'll say delete from this table where follower is A and followee is B. But if I had an ID, I could just say delete from this table where ID is this. But it doesn't really help me so much because I don't really know the ID. I know which follower and which followee I want to delete, right? So that's the reason for composite key is a very good solution here. So coming back to your question, we don't need a primary key ID here, like a auto increment primary key ID here. The composite key is doing the job for us. Okay.
Thanks.
No problem. Any other question? All right. So let's move forward then. So now we have a new function that that inserts the follower and followee into the system. Okay. All right. So let's see how many users we have. Okay. In order to see it in action, let me go to the users page, and you can see there's only one user. So if in the system we have only one user, it's not fun. It's not fun, right? I can't follow myself, so it's not gonna work. So let me log out and register a new user. Okay, so let me add trader. I will steal your name. Okay, trader. Okay, register. So I added trader, and then let me add more user, maybe just for fun. And can I steal one more name? Sam. Okay, Sam. Okay, now we should have 2 users. Now I log in as trader. Okay, then if I log in, and then it will show that, hey, trader, welcome, blah blah blah. But you can see the trader can also already see 3 tweets from Raptor. Raptor is a different user, right? Let's go to the users page, and you can see that Sam is there, trader is there, Raptor is also there. Okay, this is doing unfollow. Don't worry about it. It's randomized. If I change it, you'll see that it's randomized. It's just for fun. In the last class we did that. We'll change it. Now we have now 3 users. I think it's good enough. Now what we want to do is we want to so now I'm trader, so I should be able to follow Sam and Raptor, right? I should be able to follow Sam and Raptor. So let me add to the database and see, maybe I need the IDs as well. So let me see what the IDs are. So I'll go back to Python. I'll get all following, and then also I'll go get all users. There's a get all users function. Okay, so I'll import get all users function as well. Okay, and then I'll call get all users function. And if I call that, you'll see that Sam has ID 3, right? Trader has ID 2, and Raptor has ID 1. By the way, these IDs I didn't pass. This is automatically incrementing because it's an auto increment ID. Okay, but why I am showing you this list is because in order to add a user, in order to follow a user, it's important to know the ID of the user. So if trader wants to follow Raptor, for example, then I need to know trader's ID and Raptor's ID, because the model that we created, it has 2 parameters. It takes 2 parameters, right? What's the parameter? Let me follow user, follower, and followee. So it takes the ID of it, right? So let's call the function and see if it works. Okay, let me import get all user and also follow user. Okay, now we'll do follow user. The first parameter is the follower. The follower is trader, number 2. And the second parameter is the followee, right? Did I do it correct? Follower and followee. Yeah. The followee, I'm following Raptor, and the Raptor ID is 1. Does that make sense? Anyone? Any questions so far?
Yep. It's pretty neat that you debug this way.
Yeah, just testing the function itself, right, before we implement that in our application. So I'll do that, and there you go. It looks like everything is fine. I didn't see an error. Let me go back and see. Remember that function, get all users following. This function didn't return anything last time. Let's see if it returns trader this time. There you go. It's returning 2. Who is user 2? User 2 is trader, right? User 2 is trader. So this is working. So we essentially created a follower. Okay, so let's add another follower. So the follower this time is going to be maybe Sam follows Raptor as well. So the follower is Sam, which is number 3. Here you go. Sam's ID is 3, and 1 is Raptor. 1 is Raptor, right? So now if I add Sam as well in the following list, there you go. Everything worked. Then let's see, get all users following. Maybe I'll change this function name. It's not the right. I think get followers is a better name. It's confusing. So get all users following, and there you go. Oh, It didn't work, did it? I expected 2 and 3. Because I added 2 and 1 and 2 and 1. When I say get all users following for 1, it returned only 1 item. Anyone can help? Is it returning? No, it should. I don't think it should have a problem. Let me try once again. Okay, let me try once again. Comment. Okay, no, the data is there. See, when I tried to add number 3 to 1 already again, it says I can't allow this because it's the unique composite key, if you remember, right? We cannot have the same user following the same user.
Maybe that the get user following has some problem because the data is there.
Exactly, the data is there, right? The data is there. I can clearly see that. So 3 and 1 is there. 2 and 1 is also there, right? So the data has no problem. So let me see what's happening in the get all following function. So get follower, okay? Get follower from followers. Maybe well, followee is A, okay? And the A is user ID, and then fetch many. Fetch many should return the data already. I'll just add a limit. I'm just guessing that I didn't add a limit. I think I'll do fetch all. Fetch all is a better function that returns, I mean, for our case, maybe it returns all the users. Okay. So let me, I'll have to reload it. Fortunately, I forgot how to, let me go Python again. Import the function, and then get all following. Oh, there you go. Nice working. Okay, maybe the fetch menu was playing a role there. Okay, so you can see user 2 is there and user 3 is also there. Making sense?
In terms of your debug,
Yeah.
what is happening when there is, it seems a strange construct when it has like 2 comma and then close brackets.
Yes.
What's that? Yeah, what's that?
So we probably expected it. This is in Python term, this is called tuple. Okay, this is called tuple, and it maybe it's looking strange to you. So how about I simplify a little? Okay, instead of only follower, how about we return star, everything from the table. Okay, and then let me see if I import it again, if it works. No, it doesn't. So I'll have to restart the interpreter. There you go. Now you can see it returns the exact data that I inserted. Remember, follow user 3.1 and follow user 2.1, and there you go. I get the 2.1 and 3.1 in here. So it's a tuple. It's a tuple, which is basically a collection of data. Okay, it's something like an array. I hope you're familiar with array, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But the difference between tuple and a normal array in normal list in Python is the tuples are immutable and lists are mutable. Okay, so let's consider that as a list for now. And the first ID is the follower, and the second ID is the followee. Then again, first ID is the follower, and the second ID is the followee. And the entire thing is wrapped up in a list. There you go. Okay, so it's a list that has multiple tuples in it. This is the first follower, and this is the second follower.
It's a list with multiple tupper. So that's saying that an array within an array or something like that?
Exactly. It's an array within an array.
Which many need size? I don't know if by default is a 1 or is the whole tuple, the size of the tuple list?
Yeah, I think so. Fetch many, it has an optional size. So when I left it empty, it returned only 1, which is not exactly what I wanted, because there is a specific function for returning 1, which is fetch 1, right? Yeah. So yes, thank you for the message in the chat. That clarifies. Thank you. Okay, so if there's no further questions, so what we have so far is that we can add a follower and we can get all the followers, right? get all the followers for a user. Now, can we get all the followers that I'm not following? So for all the users that I'm not following, can someone help me with that? So where is this requirement coming from? Let me go back. See, we kind of fixed the requirement for it. Following, I can find and fix it now. But not following, how do I know that who I'm not following? Because in the table, we are keeping the record of people who we are following, but we are not keeping the record of people who are not following, right? So we definitely need a function. Let's add the function first. Oh, the function is there already. Sorry, here. Not unfollowing. Anyways, I'll keep the name as unfollowing. Okay. Get all users unfollowing. Unfollowing is not correct, I think, but I'll keep it as is. So, yeah. So I need to. This function should return. This function should return. Returns the users I am not following. Users returns okay, and returns a list. All right, so okay, can anyone help?
I think you just need the not equal on the line 54.
Mm-hmm.
Like following not equal to column A. Maybe.
So I have a list, and I have a list of users. That's the users table, right? And I have a list of followers in the followers table. What I need is all the users who are not in the followers table for me, right? So I may have 1,000 users in the users table. 1,000 users in the users table, but maybe only 10 of them are following me. So I want all the users from the users table who are not in my followers list so that I can follow them, right?
So then would you have to make two queries? Like, would we have to query both the users table and the followers table to figure that out? And how would that work?
Very, very good point. You're very close. You're very close. And I think you already nailed it almost. So it looks like it's two query, right? It looks like two query. So if the A is a table and B is a table, I'm looking for A minus B, right? A minus B. So it's two tables, but we can join these two queries into one. Okay, this is called. So here's how it looks. I'll be looking for select star from users, definitely, because that's the table A, where and you can give it an alias, users, maybe U. By U, we just give it an alias, okay, or it's a shortcut name, or yeah, U, okay, where U dot, and U has what? U has something called ID, right? Underscore ID, where U dot ID not in followers. Okay, this is not done. I'm taking small steps. select star from users u where u.id not in list of followers. Okay, but then where do we get the followers from? That will force us to create two queries. We can do it in one query. Okay, we can do it in one query. Do you want to do it in one query, or do you want to keep it like two different queries for now? We have only 10 minutes left though.
Sorry, that actually was my question. Is in this A minus B scenario, is it better we do two query, like get all the users and do the
It's definitely better. It's definitely better to have one query. Two queries will.
That you join the table. I don't know the performance of the difference of these two. Like, what's the best practice in this case?
That's definitely the best practice is to join the table.
I see.
Okay. But if we have two queries, it's okay for now. We can definitely optimize it later. Remember, optimization always comes later. Okay. We don't want to optimize from the very beginning. You can start with something that works and then gradually optimize it and make the performance better. Since we have only 9 minutes left, why not we just keep it simple and let's do this. So user ID and followers. Okay. So I'll be passing the followers as a parameter just to keep it simple. And I'll be giving the parameters here, passing the parameters, followers, and then followers. Okay. Then what I want to return is the followable, and then return followable. Okay. I don't know if it is a word even, but I'm doing it anyway. So what will happen is that we'll be passing the user ID and the list of followers that we already have, and then it will return the users that I'm not following. So let's go ahead and check if it works, because I'm not sure about the syntax. So follow user and then get users following. Okay, and then let's call get all users unfollowing. Okay, unfollowing. Then user ID can be 1, and this user may have 2 followers. Okay, so I'll pass 2 and 3 and see if it works. It didn't work because not in equals. This is not gonna, sorry, it's not gonna be equal, right? Not in followers, because there's no equals there. So that's wrong. My bad. Python import and then run this unfollowing. Okay, now it says that select user ID followers near followers, syntax error. Maybe, how about I do a quick Google, SQLite, not in list Python. Okay, let me quickly check the syntax. No, I don't want that. This is pretty bad. Oh, sorry, where am I? Yeah, there should be very clean syntax for it. So expression not in values list. So, okay. Okay, I'm so sorry, but the syntax looks pretty ugly, which is something like this. Where you that dot format. Okay, then no, that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. You can see that where row ID is, and then you have a formatter, and then the format is you join all the the arrays into you stringify it and then you return it, which is not the. If you ask me, I'm not a big fan of this syntax.
It seems like Trader had a suggestion in the chat.
Okay, not in values. Yes, not in values works. But then what you're suggesting, Trader, is this. So we can do this. So now question is whether this is a string, the parameter is a string or an array. It's an array, right? It's an array. So because it's an array, what they are suggesting is that convert that into a string and then just return it. So what it's doing it is this: followers, bracket, and bracket, and then I'm saying the followers is followers, which is a string. Okay, and then Python, and then get. So now instead of an array, we'll have to pass a string. Okay. Sorry, unfollowing is not defined. Why? Get all users unfollowing. No, that's
yeah, maybe maybe you need to restart the Python thing because like the old function signature was there.
okay. So get all users unfollowing is there. Yes, and then get all users unfollowing, and okay, and then we need to pass 1 and then maybe pass a string 2 and 3. Okay, now it's working. Yes, you're right. This is what is ideally when you ask for a follower, why I don't like this syntax is this is expected to be a string. Okay, but the problem with this is that you should never pass a big list of IDs as a string. It should be an array of IDs. Okay, so I would definitely keep that as an array, and and then maybe create a variable s followers string is this. Okay, and then for item in followers, okay, then I'll do what is the followers string plus equals this, and then oh, there is a join function. Sorry, I could use that. So it's something like this. So I could say 1 and 2, and then I can say this dot join 2. That should work. Sorry, did I make a mistake? Let me quickly look for it. Python join array of strings. Yeah, that should be a better syntax. It's a join. Let me look at this syntax. Yeah, that looks correct. Join and explode example list. Okay. Oh, I see. So it expects that to be where is it? A string. Okay. So what we have to do is class equals, instead of ID, we do str and item. Now it should fly. Okay. Now it should fly. There you go. Now it should fly. All right. So, oh no, this should be an array now. 2 and 3, enter. What it's saying is it should be not followers, it should be following a string. And then we don't need that anymore. In followers, sorry, this can be followers. Followers, and this followers will be following a string, followers, string. I hope that flies. Okay, it's working now. All right, so what happened? What happened is that, first of all, the rule of thumb is never pass a long comma separated IDs as a parameter to a function in these cases, absolutely. Because remember, you may have 100,000 users. Then your response and the IDs, the list is there to solve this problem. If you have a list of users, there's supposed to be a list on an array, not a string. Now, understand your SQL statement requires a string to be passed in this case, which is unfortunate. We could use something like ORM to solve the problem, but we are not using ORM today, so it's a topic for another day. At this point, since our SQL, it expects the parameter to be in string, what we did is we kept the contract correct. The contract is that the list is in array format. Then we converted the array into a string format that the SQL expects, and then pass this follow string as a string parameter. That solves all the problem. So what happens is that from outside world, I'm expected to pass an array, not a list. So the responsibility goes to the function to convert that, not the outside world to pass the appropriate value. Does that make sense? So your contract, your function to function contract should be clean. And your low level implementation, for example, in SQLite or in a SQL query, we need strings, but your controller doesn't care whether you're a SQLite or MongoDB, for example, right? Your controller should not be very tied to your database layer. At this point in the database layer, we are using SQLite. It requires string. Your controller has nothing to do with it. So the controller should be passing an array that, hey, these are the use. This is the user and this is the followers. Send me all the users that I'm not following. Okay, so that should be an array, and we are passing an array, which is the right thing to do. Then in the function itself, because it wants it in a string format, convert that into string and then return the result. Does that make sense?
I'm just kind of wondering though, it looks simplistic to convert an entire array into string with just saying comma. How did you convert the array into string? What line did that? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
What line of code did the conversion?
This line of code for item in the follower, right?
Plus equal. Can you explain that? Sorry.
Sure. So this is basically a list. I'm not saying that this is working, by the way. We are supposed to use this syntax. You remember this one? Join. Right?
Oh.
So the join syntax is way simpler. So here you have 1 as a string and 2 as string. And then there you go. You can see it's 1, 2, right? This is a syntax that converts an array into a string, and it adds comma to it. Okay? So we can simplify this code. Coming back to this point, we can simplify this code definitely. So let's do that. So in here, follower string, and we'll be making it an array. Okay, then we'll be doing for the same thing. Follower string is this, but this time will be follower string dot append this item. So converting the item into string here. So to answer your question, okay, converting the item to here. Now we have follower string, and then if we print it, let me print it for you, and let me print the followers as well.
Where's the comma? Where would you insert the comma between the?
Coming to that.
Oh,
so we have print for the followers. We have print for the followers string version. And then we have this join syntax, which is this comma dot join. And then we'll pass the followers string. Okay. Now let me print that as well for you. Okay. So that'll be followers underscore comma separated. And then this is the one. And then we'll print that as well. Okay, there you go. So I'm printing first the raw version that was passed as a parameter, then the stringified string version. I converted all the items into string, and then I'm comma separating it in one single string. Okay, and comma separation is happening here. Comma dot join, and then the array of a string. Let's run it real quick and see it in action. Okay. I think I'll have to re-import it, Python, and then this, and then this. There you go. You see, this is the integer version, 2 and 3, right? This is exactly what I passed from the console, 2 and 3. These are numbers. Then I converted this 2 and 3 into string, 2 in quotes, 3 in quotes. And this is happening in this line. Then I converted this array of strings into a single line, which is this 2 and 3, comma separated string. Is it becoming complicated? It's multi-stage, multi-steps. If you're not,
No,
I mean,
it's good. Good, thank
okay.
you.
No problem. I hope it's making sense to you. Okay, so integer to string conversion and then string to one line string conversion. There is one problem still, however, one problem. You can see that it's returning all the users, Raptor, Trader, Sam. It's not returning all the users that the user one is able to follow, right? It's because we didn't take the user ID into action. So select star from user where user ID is not in this. Their second parameter needs to be passed, which is this. Let me just add some more space here. And anyone? Follow E equals follow E. Because if I don't know which follow E I'm talking about, then it's going to return everything, right? So the condition is not there. So let's fix that. Follow E, colon, and then whatever the user ID is. Actually, it should be the follow E. Follow E, and then it should be follow E. I hope that should work. So let me restart and try this. So now I would expect to return the correct list of users. It didn't work. I may have missed something. No such column follow E. That's because I need to pass the, no, did I miss something here? Oh yeah, so if I want to join here. So if I don't,
the follow is, which is, I don't know.
Yeah, so yeah, what I missed here is that the follow E, so this is the follow is that I want. Select stuff from user but not in this. And this follow is supposed to come from outside, right? Supposed to come from outside. So where user ID not in followers. So let me remove that. I think that's the problem. I shouldn't be doing this. Let me run that once again, make sure everything is fine. Get all users following. So I need to pass the followers. Yes. But I want all the users that are not in the user list, followers. So that makes sense. So I probably don't need the first parameter. Let me try it out. So let me try it out once again. And then I get the user and then I pass. Okay. Okay, 2 position given. Yes, because I want this 2 and 3. Okay, so now it's returning 2 and 3, but it's supposed to return only 1, right? I think our SQL has a problem. Select star from users where u.id is not in the followers. And the followers is a comma separated list. And I'm passing clearly 2 and 3 to it.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Where would the underscore ID come from? Like, did we define the U?
Yeah, this underscore ID is coming from, you can see this user table?
Yeah.
This user table has 3 fields. Underscore ID is an integer, username is text, and password is text. Right? So this is the ID, the user ID, auto increment ID. So this is where it's coming from. So all I'm saying here is that get me all the, where is it? Yeah, get me all the users, and I give it an alias u. I don't really have to. I can say get me all the users where users._id is not in my followers list.
Okay, but how would it know what to replace users with? Like, we're not passing in a user.
But now this user is which one? This one, this ID?
Yeah, I'm just a bit confused on how it'll figure out which user to check for.
Because it's going through all the users. So if you have 10,000 users, it will be checking 10,000 users and not return the users that are in the list of followers. So you don't want to, at this point, you are not restricting the by the user ID, because this is the follower. This is not the followers table. This is querying on the users list.
Yeah, I get that, but like, aren't we supposed to pass in a specific user to search for?
I think we do that on the right hand side where it does the
We are
testing.
doing, yes, you're right. We are doing on the right hand side, as you can see, get all users unfollowing, and this is the list that we are passing.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's a good question. So your question is that how do we know what is the user that I'm following, right? So get all users following. This is the one that can return all the list.
Got it.
Yeah. So you can get all the users you're following and then pass it as a parameter to the user that I'm not following. Then you get the full list. But here we have another problem. You can see I'm passing 2 and 3. It's not supposed to return 2 and 3 here because I cannot follow Trader and Sam because I have followed them already. Honestly, I have no idea what is happening. Anyone?
After lunch next week.
Okay. Okay, yeah, it's at 11 past 12. So looks like we'll have to continue that in the next class. Let's give it a pause. I'll be pushing this code to GitHub. Let me do that right now.
Yeah.
Right in front of you. So the git status, create a branch. Git ignore. So idea. I don't want. Yeah.
By the way, how do we support your meetup group?
Sorry, say that again.
How do we support your meetup group? Like, because I don't think it's free. Your meetup group.
Yeah, it's free. This is
Meetup charges. I know they charge.
oh meetup. Oh, the meetup group is not free, but
No.
yeah, meetup has a monthly cost.
Yeah. So how do we support you with that?
This is my first. This is my first course that I'm creating. So I wanted to make the first one free, and I wanted to give something free all the time. So that's something, a promise that I made to myself. So in future there may be some paid courses coming based on. I have like 400 plus members now. So based on what they need, what they want, what would help them, I'll probably create a paid one. But at this point, it's free.
But the meetup group, though, you pay for that. So that's what you're giving our courses free, which I appreciate and thank you for. But how do we support you remaining on meetup?
Oh, that I have to pay from my pocket at this point. So yeah.
You really don't. You don't want to charge at all? Not even 10 cents, $10, nothing.
There'll be something paid coming hopefully in the future if I can shape up some kind of some useful course. So one course, I think, since you're talking about it, one course that I was thinking about was to build a Django application. I don't know if you heard of Django. It's a very powerful Python framework. Very, very powerful Python framework. It's my personal favorite. To create a Django application and build a create a full-fledged Django application and deploy that on cloud. So that will involve building the application, Dockerizing it, if you know what Docker is, then making a container and then pushing that to, for example, AWS and making it run on the cloud. So like end to end. There's going to be more involved and definitely will require more time. So this is something that I'm thinking about.
Some CI/CD tests, automate stuff in the topic you just mentioned, please.
You want me to repeat?
Can you add some of the automation, the tests, automation, CI/CD pipeline, all this?
Yes, that's a very good point. So there will be unit testing and integration testing. So CI/CD is useless. At least 50% useless if you don't have the testing, right? Because you can break the feature and you can push unwanted code that broke your business logic, right? So there will be unit tests and integration tests. And then in the CI/CD pipeline, you'll be able to run those tests to make sure everything is working. If your tests are passing, then it will containerize it and push it to the AWS, for example, push it to the AWS infra. And then yeah, you can have your dev version and testing version and production version. You can have multiple versions running side by side. So that's basically what I was thinking about. But I'm still thinking what else might be added. I'm very open for your input. So if you can let me know if you want to add something to it, that'd be great. Then that'll really help me. So I'm creating a branch, which is day 11, and then I'll be pushing that so we know what we did on day 11. Get to be completed in day 12 because we are not done yet. Okay. All right, we're almost done. All right, the code is there. Thank you so much for joining today. We have still looks like the day 11 work still pending. We'll be doing it in the next day. Thank you so much for joining. Hope to see you in the next class. And if you have any suggestion or any improvement suggestion or any anything, please do let me know for my future courses as well. I'll be really happy.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.